Muslim youth in the West are facing an identity crisis. They're torn between wherever their parents came from and the culture of that place and finding their own identity as a Muslim. Let's just say in America, because that's where I'm from. To be a Muslim American is really something different. And we have to hone in on what that means to be a Muslim American. I call my generation like the test lab bunnies, basically. I didn't want to say rats because we ain't rats. We're the test lab bunnies, right? Our parents either came here or they converted to Islam. I go into a room full of young people and I ask them, were you all born Muslim? If they were, either their parents were not born in America, their parents were born Muslim somewhere else, or their parents converted to Islam. We were the first generation who were born Muslim in this country, who went through all the trials and tribulations of being Muslim here and had to come out on the other side as Muslims. This is why you see, according to PewResearch.org, 23% of Muslims born in America, by the time they become adults, they no longer associate with Islam. We're the test bunnies. And that test and the results of that test is just now being witnessed. A lot of young people struggling with their faith, struggling with their deen in public schools, the boyfriend, girlfriend, peer pressure, alcohol, drugs, gang culture. Their parents signed on the dotted lines to be Americans, but they didn't know what that came with. They didn't read the fine print. And in that fine print, there's a society and a culture here which is in direct opposition to your faith, to your iman. And we have to combat that. We have to hone in on what it means to be a Muslim American. Most of the kids that I ask who have parents who are immigrants, where they're from, they still say they're from wherever, which leaves you feeling like an outsider. As long as you're an outsider, you'll never really find your place in society because you don't belong. I'm Syrian, I'm Pakistani, but you're born here. And your parents have no intention on leaving. How many generations does it take for you to just be, let's just say, American? I'm not telling people to rid themselves of their culture, but Europeans don't call themselves European Americans. They feel like they own this place. They like to make everybody else feel like others. And what that does is it takes you away from a sense of belonging, a sense of establishment, a sense of pride of where you live. And therefore, you have a difficult time establishing your own identity because you're torn between cultures. You're trying to be something that you aren't, or you're holding on to something that your father or mother was. And that mentality will not lead to your growth. So what I say is we have to develop Muslim American identity. What does it mean to be Muslim American? How do we dress? How do we talk? How do we get married with one another? How do we form social groups? How do we have outings? How do we do businesses together? These are all issues that deal with the society that we live in. If the Pakistani group is here, and then the Syrian group is here, and then the Turkish group is here, and the Afghani group is here, this type of division is something that the Prophet ﷺ came to rid the ummah of, but yet we still hold on to it. But that's the previous generation. I believe in this generation coming up, we will break those stereotypes, we will break those divides, we will build bridges between cultures and ethnicities, and we will just be Muslim Americans. Muslims first, Americans second. We'll be proud of where we're from, and then we will help change the society to that we can really be proud of the government as well, because we need to take part in that as well. As long as you're an outsider, you'll never be in the government. You'll never be a police officer. You won't really buy into society. And if that's the case, maybe you should think about going back where you feel welcomed and part of the society so that you can really develop. So I say, let's be part of the society. Let's develop a Muslim American identity. Let's intermarry. Let's stop having these divides by culture and ethnicity and language. Let us be Muslim first, and then hone in on being American, trying to change the society to be better than what it is. Because at the end of the day, America is still a great place. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be here. One thing as an American is that you have the opportunity to go anywhere in the world with that blue passport in the American education, but yet you still find yourself here. You have to admit yourself, this is a good place to live. Now, what America does and represents outside of America is something that we have to work to change. And inshallah, with the permission of Allah, we will change it, and we will be the catalyst of the revitalization of Islam throughout the world as not only a dominant religion, but also the law of Allah being established here on earth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it so. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.